MovieWeb.com.
I think it was well done. I mean, Shauna was fantastic, the director and
She's
writer.
I love
She's
The
just-
Greatest. So,
yeah, see, that's what made me do the movie. Is I'd said no a couple of times after reading. I loved the script and I thought it was fantastic, but I didn't want to put myself into that world. And I saw The Greatest, and that totally changed my mind.
And when you say in that world, you mean the world of
Country music. It's tough. I guess any singer who tries to be an actor, it's sort of tough to lose that identity that you've built. And when an audience comes in to see you in a film, the last thing you want is to them to look at the screen and all they see is that country singer guy.
Right.
That's up there every scene you see. So it's tough to hide behind your character to start with. You got a sort of a hill to climb to start with. So to put yourself in your own world where how everybody knows you in a film and still it makes it doubly hard to try to hide behind a character in that. So it took me a while but then I saw The Greatest and thought that if she brought those sensibilities to this film, and it was written so well, that I thought with the way she sees things with her eye, that I thought that I could develop a character that would work.
Yeah, and there's similar themes between that movie and this one as far as dealing with the loss of a child.
Right.
So that's something that you sort of had to go through in this film, correct? Was that something you were interested in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always interested in sort of loss and grieving and how people do that on film, and as an actor, how that process, how can you create that process to where it's believable? And I think people manifest it in so many different ways, and I think that this was sort of a perfect vehicle for that.
Well, what James and Kelly are going through in the film, it seems like it's almost a catharsis moment in the schoolroom with the
Right.
Make-A-Wish. Talk a little bit about that scene. And
Well, it was a
what he
great
goes
scene.
through.
That was my favorite scene in the movie because it was cathartic in a lot of ways, and he sort of recognizes and relived and rediscovered everything he loved about Kelly. But at the same time, in that rediscovery, he realizes that it's over, that their love is sort of gone. And I think that's the beauty and the tragedy in this film, because it is a love story, ultimately. It's a love story between Kelly and James. There's a real love story there. But the love got sacrificed along the way because of the things that happened in their life and the way they led their life, and ultimately where they ended up. Their love got sacrificed.
Was it that he just couldn't forgive for Dallas and everything?
I don't know if he couldn't forgive for Dallas. I just think that he saw that she wasn't going to forgive herself. And I think that when he saw that there was no way that she was going to forgive herself, that there's nobody can live in that world.
So you've got the other three actors in the film who are all doing country music. Mm-hmm. Were there any sort of tips you were able to give, or did you really try to stay away from, helping out in that way?
I've heard them say in a few interviews that I offered advice. I don't remember really offering any advice. I may have made some suggestions, but not many. I think that I knew that I was in sort of the big leagues with some fantastic actors in this film, and I knew that the subject matter was heavy, and I knew that the film was going to have some weight to it, and a lot more than people would expect. I think that this film has sort of a gravitas to it that I don't think people are going to expect till they go to the film. So I knew that I had some heavy, and I also knew my character had some heavy lifting. So I think I was more concerned. I wasn't really too concerned about what they were going to do and I knew they were going to be fine, and I also knew that it was so well written. And they were such professionals that the music was going to evolve out of their characters so well that it was going to be flawless.
Was there something that you related to this character? Had you sort of known this type of guy, the manager, in your own life?
I don't think I've known this type of guys, man. I've been very fortunate with managers in my life and my career. I think I looked at it more as a relationship point of view, and I think as when somebody's caught in a relationship like this, you never know what the right decisions to make are. And I think it would have been easy to dismiss James as a bad guy if you'd have read the script, but I thought that it was a lot deeper than that, and I thought that James was trying to make decisions the best way that he could under the circumstances that he had. Not always the right decisions, but I thought that if you could create a little bit of empathy with the audience where they could at least understand where James was coming from.
Kelly.
She's putting on a big show.
First time I heard you sing, I thought that must be what angels sound like.
I love that story. That's how it's done, sweetheart.